We welcome our viewers here in the Philippines and around the world. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Cepeda. Now to the news. Pipe bombs were sent Wednesday to Barack Obama, top Democrats, and CNN. Hate figures for Donald Trump supporters, while the U.S. president tempered calls for unity by attacking the media for its endless hostility. Democrat and Trump foe Hillary Clinton was one of those targeted as political opponents accused the Republican president of sowing violence just days before a bitterly divided America votes November 6 in elections. CNN is known for its robust coverage of the Trump administration and has constantly provoked the ire of the president who succeeded Obama and defeated Clinton in 2016. The spree of bomb alerts began Monday with a device at the New York home of billionaire liberal donor George Soros. So far, the devices have been what appear to be pipe bombs, said FBI agent Brian Parman. New York Police Chief James O'Neill said he expected those responsible to be identified and arrested within the next few days. At least 7 suspicious packages were sent in New York, Washington, and Florida, including the prominent American or African-American Democrats, Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder, and Maxine Waters, a California lawmaker. Waters was sent 3 packages according to the FBI. They were sent in manila envelopes with a bubble wrap marked with computer-printed address labels. Each listed Debbie Wasserman Schultz, former chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee, as the sender. From the White House, Trump initially appealed for unity, saying acts of political violence have no place in the United States.
We want all sides to come together in peace and harmony. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. It'll happen. More broadly, there's much we can do to bring our nation together. For example, those engaged in the political arena must stop treating political opponents as being morally defective. Have to do that. The language of moral condemnation and destructive routine, these are arguments and disagreements that have to stop. No one should carelessly compare political opponents to historical villains, which is done often, it's done all the time. Got to stop.
Meanwhile, speaking to supporters at a campaign rally in Muzzini, Wisconsin, U.S. President tempered calls for unity by attacking the media for its endless hostility in response to pipe bombs sent to Barack Obama, top Democrats, and CNN. Watch this.
The media also has a responsibility to set a civil tone and to stop the endless hostility and constant negative and oftentimes false attacks and stories. Have to do it. Have to do it.
Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Wednesday denounced the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and vowed justice would prevail without addressing U.S. accusations of a botched cover-up over the killing by the Gulf Kingdom. After calling Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to discuss the October 2 killing in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, which has triggered an international diplomatic crisis, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman pledged there would be no rupture in ties with Ankara. Prince Mohammed bin Salman said the incident was very painful for all Saudis. It's a repulsive incident and no one can justify it. 3 weeks since Khashoggi, a Saudi citizen living in self-imposed exile, disappeared after walking into the consulate to get some marriage documents, the crisis shows no signs of abating. Washington moved late Tuesday to revoke the visas of a number of Saudis, even though the two countries have long been allies, with Britain following suit on Wednesday. Saudi leaders have denied involvement in Khashoggi's murder, pushing responsibility down the chain of command.
الحادث اللي حدث مؤلم جدا لجميع السعوديين، خاصة لمواطن سعودي، واعتقد انه مؤلم لاي انسان موجود في العالم. هو حادث بشع غير مبرر تماما. اليوم المملكة العربية السعودية تقوم باتخاذ كل الاجراءات القانونية للتحقيق واكتمال التحقيقات بالعمل مع الحكومة التركية للوصول لنتائج وتقديم المذنبين للمحاكمة واخذ العقاب الرادع.
Thousands of Central American migrants crossing Mexico toward the United States in a caravan resumed their long trek Wednesday, walking about 12 hours to their next destination. The migrants, who have drawn new daily Twitter tirades from U.S. President Donald Trump, walked and hitched rides from the town of Huixtla in southern Mexico to Mapastepec, some 60 kilometers away. Carrying their few belongings on their backs, many with babies pressed to their chests or holding their children by the hand, they left at dawn after taking a one-day break to rest, bath, and nurse aching and injured feet.
No, yo lo miro un poco difícil, que está un poco como enojadito, pero ahí vamos nosotros, tal vez lo ablandamos. De Trump, solo Dios sabrá y que ojalá que les dé la oportunidad de entrar a los Estados Unidos. Eso esperamos nosotros, de entrar a los Estados Unidos sin problemas, porque somos Honduras, vamos en paz, en paz.
Meanwhile, Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro dismisses U.S. Vice President Mike Pence's accusation that Caracas is financing the Honduras migrant caravan marching towards the United States. Pence on Tuesday said Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez told him the caravan was organized by leftist groups in Honduras, financed by Venezuela.
At
the President's direction, I spoke to President Hernandez of Honduras. He told me that the caravan that's now making its way through Mexico, headed for the southern border, was organized by leftist organizations and financed by Venezuela.
El hombre llegó a decir que esa caravana está siendo financiada por Venezuela, por el presidente Nicolás Maduro, y que pretenden poner a prueba la seguridad y la defensa de Estados Unidos, no sé para qué. Lo primero que provoca es risa, y lo segundo es preocupación, porque ya comienza la paranoia imperialista a acusar al presidente Maduro y a Venezuela de todo lo que les ocurre a ellos. Tremendo poder de convocatoria que yo tengo, pues, en Centroamérica. Mike Pence.
Mexican residents in Escuinapa wake up to damaged streets and fallen trees after Hurricane Willa lashed the Pacific coast with powerful winds and heavy rain before weakening to a tropical depression as it moved inland. At a shelter in Escuinapa, a town of 30,000 people that sits in the middle of the hurricane's path, residents fretted over their houses as they waited out the storm. Many residents had boarded up their windows with plywood. Mexican army deployed troops to roll out a disaster response operation in the area. In Mazatlan, a tranquil resort town with turquoise waters, the hotels that line the coast were largely empty as workers nailed plywood over the windows and built sandbag barriers to keep out the flood waters earlier in the day. As the storm moved over the town, drenching it in a light but steady rain, some hardy residents even went for walks or bike rides on the oceanfront avenue, the Malecón.
Fuertísimo, estuvo tremendo, cosa de dar miedo, pues. Y alrededor todo destrozó, alrededor palos, todo, y aquí por el camino de vamos también está destrozado también. Dejé mis animalitos, gallinas, pues, unos perritos y a un hijo que quedó allá, no quiero venir, ya estábamos a ver cómo lo encontramos.
Estamos dándole gracias a Dios porque lo principal lo preservó, que es la vida. Las cosas materiales como quiera se recuperan.
According to weather.com, Super Typhoon Yutu has become the strongest typhoon of record to pass over Saipan and Tinian. The typhoon has just cleared the U.S. territories in the Western Pacific region after becoming a Category 5 storm. Our EBC Micronesia correspondent Lizelle Cristobal shows us the devastation on the island of Saipan.
For the second time in just 6 weeks, the Western Pacific fall victim to another giant storm. This time, it's Super Typhoon Yutu. Winds of up to 290 kilometers an hour battered the islands of Saipan and Tinian, where the eye of the storm traveled directly overhead on early Thursday morning. Strong winds and even lightning, which lasted about 3 hours, caused power outages and flooding to homes. Witnesses also claimed to have seen storm surges measuring more than 6 meters. Upon daybreak, residents began assessing the damage to their properties. Cars and other loose items were tossed around like small toys. Ralph Torres, the governor of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, has been urging residents this whole week to be proactive, stay informed, and prepare for the worst conditions. Meanwhile, schools remain closed until further notice. United States President Donald Trump has already approved funding for immediate assistance in the wake of this latest disaster. Teams from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, have been in Guam and Saipan since September, still assessing and recovery efforts from Super Typhoon Mangkhut.
Just like Typhoon Mangkhut, Super Typhoon Yutu is expected to march northward towards Asia. Reporting from Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, this is Lizelle, 1 with Net 25.
Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak says his conscience is clear as he and his ally are charged with allegedly looting $1.6 billion of public money, the latest accusations against figures from the scandal-plagued old regime.
My conscience is clear that the decisions taken were taken for the interests of the nation. In the context of when you receive certain money, you have to pay back. Otherwise, but what is more important is that in the charge sheet or the charges that were leveled, there were no indication or no accusation of benefiting, personally benefiting from the decisions we've taken. So what I want to say is that don't be misguided by the total sum. If you add all the sum, it's 6.5 billion, but it does not mean 6.5 billion has gone missing, no.
Najib has now been hit with 38 charges since losing power, most of them related to allegations that he and his cronies laundered vast sums from foreign wealth fund 1MDB. The scandal played a major part in prompting all holders of elections in May after 6 decades in power and elect a reformist alliance headed by Mahathir Mohamad. Najib was jointly charged in a Kuala Lumpur court with ex-senior finance ministry official Muhammad Irwan Sarigar Abdullah with 6 counts of criminal breach of trust. They denied all the charges. The crimes involved 6.6 billion ringgit, or that's $1.6 billion of public money, and allegedly took place between December 2016 and December 2017. Each charge is punishable by up to 20 years in jail. Local media reported that some of the money was used to pay debts owed by 1MDB to Abu Dhabi Foreign Wealth Fund 1 or IPIC. Israeli warplanes hit Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip early on Thursday in response to rocket fire from the territory into southern Israel, the army said. Fighter jets targeted a military compound in the northern Gaza Strip and a training facility and a munitions manufacturing and storage site in the south, it said in a statement. Gaza's Islamist rulers, Hamas, said there were no casualties in the strikes. An Israeli army spokeswoman said the raids were in response to a rocket fired from Gaza, which caused no casualties or damage, but which evaded Israel's Iron Dome defense system, triggering an inquiry. It was the first such fire from Gaza since October 17, when a rocket severely damaged a family home in the southern Israeli city of Beersheba, prompting some 20 retaliatory airstrikes and the temporary suspension of fuel deliveries to Gaza. The latest flare-up comes after months of Palestinian protests along the Gaza border that have drawn a deadly response from Israeli troops. Ethiopia on Tuesday appointed a woman to the largely ceremonial position of president for the first time. In a unanimous vote, Ethiopian lawmakers picked career diplomat Sali Work-Zewde to replace Mulatu Teshome, who resigned. Sali Work, who is in her late 60s, has been Ethiopia's ambassador to France, Djibouti, Senegal, and the regional bloc, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, or IGAD. Just prior to her appointment as president, she was the UN staff official at the African Union. She is fluent in English and French as well as Amharic. As president, she is expected to serve 2 6-year terms. Political power in Ethiopia is wielded by the prime minister, with the president's role is restricted to attending ceremonies and functions. Ethiopia's reformist prime minister Abiy Ahmed last week appointed a slimline 20-person cabinet in which half of posts are held by women. They include Defense Minister Aisha Mohammed and Muferiyat Kamil, who leads the newly created Ministry of Peace, responsible for police and domestic intelligence agencies.
The last century, and this is
Arson detectives are now questioning the man arrested by Seattle police on Tuesday, October 23, suspected to have thrown several Molotov cocktail devices at the house of worship of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, or Church of Christ, in Seattle's Rainier Valley district last Thursday, October 18. In a statement, the police said the suspect was in his 30s. He was arrested Tuesday evening around 6:30 in South Seattle. Bail was set at around $500,000, according to the statement of probable case obtained by Seattle Times. The man was seen on video surveillance footage removing items from his bag and setting them on the ground just before 8 p.m. Thursday, October 18. The man then lighted the Molotov cocktails and threw them one by one at the church. The suspect even accidentally lit his own jacket when he picked up the third Molotov cocktail device. Around 250 people were inside the church attending a worship service when all these happened. No one was injured, only a part of the church building's exterior had minor damage. The church had received various messages of sympathy and support from the local community after Thursday's incident. INC District Minister for the Pacific Northwest region, Barrington Thompson, thanked the community members for these expressions of support and also thanked the police for their immediate aid. Now they're increasing security, but although they're anxious about the attack, he says their faith remains strong.
It saddens us. However, even though it saddens us, we do not respond in anger.
INC Minister Brother Barry Thompson said the congregation will continue with their peaceful worship services no matter what. In these times, all the more we need to keep faith, to remain hopeful and to spread love as true Christians, he said. Thompson said that although the incident saddened church members, they would keep on doing good work in the community. He said, no matter what we face, the church will continue serving the Seattle community. We will keep on spreading the good news of salvation and work to care for and aid our fellow human beings. We'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes
Saudi oil giant Aramco is absolutely ready for its long-awaited IPO, but several regulatory procedures remain. The kingdom's economy and planning minister Mohammed Al-Tuwaijiri says during the Future Investment Initiative conference in Riyadh. After reports that the initial public offering had been scrapped, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said early this month that it will go ahead in late 2020 or at the start of 2021, 2 years later than expected. Saudi Arabia plans to sell up to 5% of the world's largest energy firm and hopes to raise up to $100 billion. The Crown Prince denied that the kingdom had halted the plan after a media report said that financial advisors working on it had been disbanded. He said all the financial requirements for the equity sale were ready and a new board was in place. But lengthy regulatory processes still needed to be completed, especially over the planned acquisition of a majority stake in Saudi petrochemicals giant SABIC. Tokyo's Nikkei plunged more than 3% at the start of trade Thursday after a punishing session on Wall Street that saw major U.S. indices wipe out all their 2018 gains. The benchmark Nikkei 225 index was down 3.19% or 706.12 points to 21,386.6. Shortly after the open, while the broader Topix index was down 2.62%, or that's 43.32 points to 1,608.75. The market environment is tough. Makoto Sengoku, market analyst at Tokai Tokyo Research Institute, said, pointing to the sharp drops in U.S. stocks. Sentiment has worsened due to a mixture of various negative pieces of news, he said. Investors are facing the expectation of higher U.S. interest rates, which would boost borrowing costs, anxiety over the fallout from the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and an ongoing budget dispute between Italy and Brussels. Microsoft on Wednesday said its profit in the recently ended quarter soared on the back of revenue from services hosted in the internet cloud and its career-focused social network LinkedIn. The Redmond, Washington-based technology giant reported net income of $8.8 billion on revenue of $29.1 billion in the quarter that ended on September 30, up to 34% and 19% respectively from the same period a year earlier. Shares were up 1.6% to $104 in after-market trades that followed the release of the earnings figures for the first quarter of the fiscal year. Microsoft Chief Executive Satya Nadella said they are off to a great start in fiscal 2019, a result of their innovation and the trust customers are placing in us to power their digital transformation. Hong Kong carrier Cathay Pacific came under pressure Thursday to explain why it had taken 5 months to admit it had been hacked and compromised the data of 9.4 million customers, including passport numbers and credit card details. The airline said Wednesday it had discovered suspicious activity on its network in March and confirmed unauthorized access to certain personal data in early May. However, Chief Customer and Commercial Officer Paul Lu said Officials wanted to have an accurate grasp on the situation before making an announcement and did not wish to create unnecessary panic. News of the leak sent shares in Cathay, which was already under pressure as it struggles for customers, plunging more than 6% to a 9-year low in Hong Kong trading. Finnish telecoms equipment maker Nokia reported a reduction in its third quarter losses of almost 57% on Thursday as it launched a cost savings program in a bid to restore profitability. The company announced a net loss of 79 million euros between July and September compared to 183 million euros for the same period last year. Nokia also released details of a 700 million euros cost savings program between now and the end of 2020, of which 500 million is expected to come from operating expenses. The improved results, driven by a pickup in commercial 5G developments in the U.S., saw Nokia reiterate its guidance to investors after a difficult start to the year. More news will be coming your way when Eagle News International returns.
Nakahulugan ng tagumpay para kay Victor Neri.
Yung intention mo ng trabaho ay dapat ay nag-iisip ka na ng kapwa mo. Parang ganun. I hope it starts there. Diyan ang Diyos, diyan ang iba. Laging ganun. Ako po si Victor Neri. Abangan niyo po ako ngayon Sabado sa RYTS Rule Yourself to Success dito lang sa Net 25.
They see images of celebrities, personalities, say, oh, I want to be like that, I want to dress like that. But if that's not who you are, what's the point? Why are you trying to be somebody you don't know? You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to buy brands, you don't need to have lots of money to have a car.
Join the EBC Family Fun Run November 18, 2018 at the Ciudad de Victoria Complex, Bulacan. Choose from race categories: 1.062 kilometer, 2.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and 9.55 kilometers. Registration is ongoing. For more details, log on to www.eaglenews.ph/EBC Fun Run or call 784-7450, local 1162. You may also visit www.facebook.com/EBC Fun Run. EBC Family Fun Run.
Hey Net25 kids, I'm James Reyes, a comic book artist and the host of the show Time to Draw, coming soon to Net25. Join kids around the world as they learn how to draw along with me. Join the fun, and remember, there is always time to draw. See you all soon, and I am one with 25.
Time to draw a line.
British Royal Meghan Markle sent adoring crowds into a frenzy in Fiji on Wednesday when she took center stage from husband Prince Harry to passionately promote women's rights. The American-born 37-year-old recounted her struggle to afford higher education in her maiden international speech made to students at the University of the South Pacific. She also met female traders as the Suva markets. Although so many enthusiastic fans were jammed into the venue that her security detail cut short the pregnant Duchess's visit. Meghan, who married into the royal family 5 months ago, made the case for open access to education, particularly for women. For women and girls in developing countries, this is vital, she said. Providing them with access to education is the key to economic and social development. She also said when girls are given the right tools to succeed, they can create incredible futures, not only for themselves, but for all of those around them. Meghan graduated with a communications degree from Northwestern University in Illinois before becoming an actress, then marrying Harry earlier this year. Announcing 2 grants to encourage women empowerment in Pacific academia, she said higher education for her was incredible, impactful, and pivotal, despite the challenge of paying for it. Meghan's visit to meet women participating in the UN project Market for Change was curtailed, with Kensington Palace later citing crowd management issues. Several works by mercurial artist Banksy went under the hammer Wednesday at Paris auction house Art Curiel, but no work auto-destructed as happened earlier this month at Sotheby's. Artistic jaws dropped after Banksy's audacious prank involving the shredding of his girl with balloon moments after it fetched £1,042,000, or that's $1.4 million, a joint record for the maverick who had hidden a shredder in the frame. Wednesday's auction of 133 lots in all went ahead amid tight surveillance. But this time there was no rip it up and start again from the artist from Bristol, Southern England, who has never revealed his true identity. His stop and search silkscreen, a denunciation of police stop and search surveillance, fetched 65,000 euros, including just double a 30,000 to 35,000 euro estimate. Another screen print, a Warhol-esque soup can, went under the hammer for 46,800 euros, having been estimated at 15,000 to 20,000 euros. A third work, Queen Vic, mocking Queen Victoria's anti-homosexuality stance by depicting her in indecorous pose astride another woman, went for 11,700 euros, of around 3 times its reserve. A plastic statuette of a rat holding a paintbrush, meanwhile, also found a buyer. Banksy admitted that things did not go quite to plan at Sotheby's, where besuited champagne-sipping men and bejeweled women had initially looked on aghast as girl with balloon got stuck only half shredded.
J'adjuge à 50 000.
And before we go, I would like to greet my son an advance happy birthday. Happy birthday, Lee. It's his birthday tomorrow. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr. Also check out our boards on Pinterest and pictures on Instagram. I'm Sam Cepeda. Thanks for joining us. And I'm 1 with 25.